What's up, everybody? We back at the Bull Ring, the house that the boys built, South Everetts Motor Speedway. We out here in the South Everetts Speed Shop. We're gonna give y'all a little race recap, talk about the first race of our four-race winter point series, first point series we've ever put on. Trent was able to get out here and run. We had Carson Hazlett. He was out here running one of the house carts, and we had a pretty good turnout. Wasn't a giant amount of carts, but there was enough that we had good racing and enough of a field in every class.
It was a perfect amount, if you ask me. It was not too many to make it chaotic, but enough to fill the field and make for some good racing.
Yeah, for sure. And Trent and I and Big Al, we ran the qualifying, so I guess that's where we'll start out with. Just roll right into it. We pitted out of the shop here, and I had my enclosed trailer set up in front, so we kind of had a home base set up over here. But what you got on qualifying?
It has been 2 years since I sat in a kart, so it was fun to be back in one. But I felt a little practice. I felt we made some improvements in practice. It felt crazy at first just to be back in, but we made some improvements, and I felt like I had it under me. Qualifying, I felt like I put down something consistent. I was trying to be conservative. And then my qualifying number showed that. Not great, but it wasn't too far out of the ballpark. We knew we had something to work with.
Yeah, you and Carson both qualified basically middle of the pack.
Yeah, around middle of the pack.
So I think Carson was pushing a little bit harder than you were.
He was. I was too where I didn't want to make no. He gets a lot more seat time than I do, and he was not scared to make a mistake. I was a little more nervous to make a mistake in qualifying. I didn't want to lose it and be in the back.
Yeah, so. And we had been practicing all day while the sun was out. There was still a little bit of heat on the track. The sun went down right when we rolled into qualifying. It's getting dark, 5:15 after 5. The sun's gone here now right now. So about 5:30 is when we rolled out, wouldn't you say?
And qualifying went smooth as far as people coming on up, and we got them in.
Yeah, we had to wait on a couple that were sharing tires, swapping tires, that sort of thing.
They did a good job. I mean, they come and told us beforehand that they were going to do it, so we told them, that was another great thing about not having 150 carts with 17 classes. We were able to give people some time to do what they needed to do.
Yes, I remember we started off. Nick Webb was the first one to pull out on the track in his box stock, and dude went out there first lap of the night.
Yeah,
laid down a track record on the first qualifying lap of the night. He went a 8.63 in his box stock. And a year ago, box stocks didn't break 9 seconds. It just didn't happen. Before this last race, the fastest qualifying time in a box stock was held by Seth Thomas, I believe, and it was 8.99. So almost 4/10 quicker than the previous record. So that was a huge jump.
Yeah.
Modifieds seem to struggle.
That's always been a thing here, though.
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent. Time-wise, you just can't. The power to time doesn't relate here. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. I mean,
you got box stocks making 7 horsepower, and some of them modifieds, they're claiming. Some of them claim 40 horsepower.
40 to 45.
Ain't nobody out here made no 40 horsepower. Not this weekend, no way. There might have been a 40 horsepower motor out here 3 inches before sometime, but this past weekend there wasn't one.
I do believe the fastest time put down this weekend was by a box stock or by a sports stock motor.
Yeah, the one that was in the race that James qualified, James Holiday, that motor he was running, it was just a little bit hotter than a sports stock motor, and he was low 8s in qualifying.
Yeah. So
I can't remember the number he had right off the top of my head, but he was moving.
But he was stuck to the track like a mouse in a sticky trap. I mean, he was.
Yeah. The qualifying overall went good. Well, this was the first weekend we ever let kids and juniors qualify. I liked it. It made the initial start of the race a lot smoother because, especially with the kids class, you got so many different levels of experience out there on the track together at once. Some of these kids have been doing it 3-4 years, and they're still young enough. They need to be in the kids class. And then we had one racer. He had never been on the track before.
Really?
The young man in the white 15. They said he had never been on a track. By the end of the race, I mean, he was almost keeping time with the top of the pack. So that was good to see. We only had 4 kids. I really like to see a big kids class, but at the same time, a 4 kart kids class is a whole lot smoother than 8 or 10 of them.
Say, it's enough they can get out there and spread out and have fun. Main thing with them is once they get up to speed, they're having fun. I mean, they can get spread out and race and enjoy the track, and learn to handle the cart, learn what the cart's doing. That's better than becoming better racers.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and if they're starting. If they're fast and they're a half second faster than some of the kids starting up front, then they're not really learning how to become better racers and tell their dad what the car's doing and stuff when they're worried about dodging traffic. So
follow the leader can be a really good way of learning at that age, I feel like. Yeah. I guess we can roll into the races.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the kids, they were the first race of the night, and some of those kids in qualifying were in the low 9s.
Yeah, the kids were rolling.
After the race, I talked to a couple parents, and our track being the smallest, 330-foot run line, and some of them kids were getting close to 30 mile an hour, and that don't sound like a lot, but in this tight of a area, that's moving too.
They're not dropping at so much speed getting through the corners.
No, we're strongly talking about the potential of putting restrictor plates on kids and juniors, just to slow them down and safeten that class up a little bit, because they don't have the judgment. Well, some of them do. Some of them have better judgment than some of the adults, but the youngins don't. They just don't have that judgment and that fear. honestly, that we have. So, but the kids put on a good race.
Yeah, they got theirs in pretty.
Chase Warren and Eli Thomas were trading the lead back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
They drove each other hard.
Yeah,
but it wasn't over the top hard,
Yeah, it was a good race. It was from the flag stand. That was a good race, especially for kids to put on.
And you were flagging that one, correct?
Yeah.
I felt like they listened to you good.
Yeah, they did. They listened a little bit better than the juniors, in my opinion, probably.
Yeah, and we started them double file.
Yeah.
So the kids used to start from a standstill, so we've moved up to pace laps, and
I think it's a big thing for the kids too, especially for some of them that don't have a lot of experience. They're so nervous on what's going on. They're paying extra attention to the flag man, which is a good thing because they don't want to mess up. So they really are paying attention to yellows and to greens and to whites and everything else. So
it's a good habit.
It's a good habit to be in. But I think sometimes the juniors are at the age where they're so worried about being competitive and racing, which is also a good thing. But they'll lose track of, when the caution's out or somebody's wrecked, they don't want to give up their spot.
Yeah. They've got that competitiveness, and they're more worried about how long they keep that right foot down.
Yeah, the competitiveness is starting to show more, which is part of racing. But yeah, the kids listened good though. I was proud of all of the kids.
I was too. Eli Thomas ended up winning that one, and Chase Warren that finished second. He came across the stripe sideways.
Yeah,
and the only thing he was worried about, he pointed at me and said, "Did I make it? Did I make it?" I said, "Buddy, you made it across the line. You're good." That's all that young one was worried about.
I don't know if was it a car on the lead lap, but it ended up being almost a photo finish with another cart, didn't it? When it came sideways,
it was him and Olivia, the third place finisher.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know who got scored where, or if she was on, or what it led by.
He got it. He got it by that.
Yeah,
I would have looked at it harder if Olivia wasn't my niece, but I'm gonna cut her no slack, so I just put her in third.
Yeah, I know from the flag stand I was watching a lot of other things, but I remember that happening. I was like, man, that made a photo finish for something.
Yeah. I guess we can roll into the juniors. I don't want you talk about them. I don't even want to talk about them.
All right. Well, juniors, there's a lot of fast kids in juniors.
Very much so.
A lot of fast kids, and some of them are very competitive, which is good, and some of them are out there to have fun. And in the back, and some of them are trying to learn how to drive a kart more. So, main thing, they got to slow down on caution.
Yeah, big time.
You got to slow down on caution because that creates more than just one problem. When you can't slow down on caution, then it can't allow the people running the track and the other kids to catch up and all get into order, and it just runs on to somebody jumping a start and everybody slowing out. So if we could slow them down some on caution, which I was trying to get them to slow down the other day, but they would slow down on caution and then get to the backstretch knowing they would come to the green and pick up a little speed, and it would stretch them out, and then kids would be trying to run each other down and overshoot it and loop out, and that was why it was creating a lot of
every
caution.
pace lap they were ready to fire. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what the flagman was saying. They were ready to fire every time they went into turn 3.
So that would just be a good thing for them to learn, just to start. Just when it's caution, we're not going to start the race without you. We'll be very clear. The flagman's always going to be clear. He's going to give you the one to go. You just take your time under caution, relax, let everybody get back settled in, and go back to racing. But it was a wild. That was a 19. I think the video was a 19-minute feature. And for comparison, a normal feature, I think the other videos were anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes.
Yeah, six is a long race.
Yeah, 6 is a long race here on a 20-25 lap feature. So that shows you how many cautions. And because I knew we didn't have that many classes in the flag stand, I didn't want to cut them short. I know a lot of people probably wanted me to cut the class short or cut them down on, but I didn't. I wanted them to keep running.
Yeah.
I wanted them to get all their laps in and learn what it's like to have to go through a lot of restarts, because there's some nights in racing that you got to learn how to go through 10 restarts in a feature. So they got it in, and we still were done with all the features at 8:15, 8:20.
Yeah.
The last feature was done. So even though we had one class that went long,
and I feel like that's one thing with the qualifying that sets us apart a little bit from every backyard track has their own way of running things. And that's one of the greatest parts about it. That's awesome. Yeah. Every time you go, you're racing with the same people, but it's a completely different format. So that's great. You're always getting a different look, because no two racetracks are the same. Whether you're backyard go-kart racing or you're running a dirt late model or you're in NASCAR. I mean, no two weekends are the exact same.
Nope.
So that's one of the beauties of it. But something that we do that none of the other tracks do is the qualifying. And I take pride in trying to put the race together as much like what you would see at a local short track with big cars.
That's what I want.
But just in backyard go-kart version. So
I love how we mix the dirt car world in with the go-karts and don't make it set up like all your big-time go-kart clay tracks. And we try to give you more of a, like you said, a short track dirt car feel, but we're racing go-karts. So it's more, I love qualifying. Always have loved qualifying.
It saves equipment. It normally helps out on restarts. It didn't for the juniors, but every other class it did.
Yeah. And most guys that put the time in and work on their karts and come out here to be competitive love qualifying, because everybody starts where they belong and you're not just, tearing stuff up all night. But qualifying is fun. I always like qualifying. I loved it. The kids and the juniors qualify. Like you said, it prepared them for their next step up. So when it's time for them to move up, they don't never know what it's like going out and qualifying.
The only problem that you had on the juniors, coming to the flag was, like you said, trying to get that pace speed slowed down. And I mean, I was out on the track. I was on foot, and I stopped them. How many times did I stop? They ain't no
multiple.
And they didn't stop as many times as I tried to stop them. I about got ran over one time.
You did.
Yeah. I lifted my foot, and if I hadn't lifted my foot, it'd have been under a go-kart. But
should have video of it.
Yeah.
Should be, yeah.
But the leader, I talked to him, and he understood, okay, Noah's telling me I need to slow down. Let's try and slow it down. And then apparently I needed to talk to whoever was in second place too, because they were just pushing him around the track. The boy picked his foot up to show me he won't hit the gas, and he was still picking up speed. So that's one of them deals. I mean, but they're still youngins. They're still learning. So you can't lose your cool and act out of pocket to them. But
like I said, that's why I let them keep racing. I kept giving them a caution. I kept telling them, we're going to keep restarting and we're going to run this race until we get it right. And there toward the end, they could get where they could run 4 or 5 laps consecutive, where, like I said, but it'll make them better drivers.
And getting into a bigger class or getting into a car or something doesn't mean that type of thing goes away, because there's been nights at County Line where I ran hot under pace laps one of the races this season from us being out there so long.
Yeah, there's been times where I get out there and I mean I'm almost about to overheat myself, and I got to focus on my breathing and all of that stuff that you don't think about it, because you say y'all only run a 15 or 20 lap feature, but sometimes that can be a 30-minute feature. In August when the header comes through the car, man, you like I said, so you got to be prepared for restart after restart after 15
restart. 15 laps and 30 pace laps.
Yeah, when people jump the cars in the straightaway on the first lap and it takes them 20 minutes to peel them apart, man, you ain't. So,
but after the juniors, we ended up having a pretty good junior race. Gavin Mobley won that one. He actually lives. Go to the stoplight in Everetts and go just up the road. I mean, this is for sure.
He started on the pole.
This is for sure his home track. And I talked to his granddad before the race, Mr. Terry. He used to be flagman at Robertsonville, great guy. But he said that they had really put in some work. They'd had a tough spell the last couple of races, and they put in the work, got on the scales, done some major adjustments and parts changes to the kart, and the results showed. So
it's always nice when you can put in the hard work.
They said they really needed a good finish, and they got it. He was, by the end of the race, he was in a different area code.
Yeah, that'll make him hungry for more, so you can guarantee he'll be excited to run the rest of the point season.
So that was good. So after that, we followed that up with your class, right? We were box light after that. We took normally. I try and roll while the cars are on the track. I'm saying next class get lined up. We want the boom, 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 pop them off. But after that race, I straight up got on the microphone and said, "Y'all, we gotta take an intermission." I had to let my blood pressure come down because that's how bad the junior race was.
Yeah, the junior race was. It was. Other than that, though, that was the only stressful time of the night, and which I took pride in. Both of us this time being organized and being able to put on an event that went smoothly and having it where everything rolled off one behind another and everybody had enough time, but didn't feel like they were having to be out till midnight.
Yeah, because that gets old.
Yeah, and that can be a dirt track theme, and that's not something that I take pride in racing at 2:00 in the morning. So it was nice to get it on and have a smooth show. So yeah, we went into box stop light, which meant I got out of the flag stand and got in Mr. Noah Wynn's kart, the number 6.
Oh yeah, Mark Warren.
Yep. And rolled out 6th out of a 7-kart field, so I knew I couldn't go back very far. Moved up a couple positions early in the race, and within a couple laps, I knew I didn't really have enough to be in 3rd. I knew I wasn't a back of the pack car, but I knew I could feel the pressure from behind, and I could see the little bit of gap in front of me. And I got passed by one kart, fell back to 4th, and then Carson, my teammate, I felt the pressure from him a little bit, and by that time I could feel my tires starting to fade. So I knew not only was he probably a little quicker from the beginning, a tenth or two, I knew my tires were going in the wrong direction, or I felt like my kart was going in the wrong direction from where I wasn't qualifying in the start of the race. So I let him by and then settled in 5th, where I felt like I was about a 5th place kart in the class I was in. So I was happy to not loop it or do anything silly and just finish where I felt like I belonged, knowing that we could make some changes, come back, knowing that probably somebody's going to miss a race somewhere down the line and it's going to mess somebody up in points. We just keep running the point series and getting a little faster each week.
And you get a drop, so
podium. Yeah.
I mean, if that's the worst we finish all through the series, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
But James came out firing on that single cylinder. He was running real hard.
That thing was.
He was checked out. We got a lot of work to do if we're gonna have anything fast enough to run with James. And
I ain't gonna lie, the only time I've ever been passed like that in a stock go kart was at the beach, and it's because I got put into slow one.
yeah.
I mean, that was just a clinic. Lil James has got it figured out. He has his tires figured out. He's got his front end geometry figured out. He got his motor figured out. And he had his driving figured out, and he put on a pure clinic in box stock the other night.
And that was a fresh $150 motor.
From I know.
I helped to take it out the box. Alex actually ran it one time before James even ran it out at Leggett Mill.
It goes to show you, like I said, out here it doesn't. You do not have to. You have to have a clean running engine, and you got to be able to put it down and get around.
And he's really got his gear figured out. He's played around enough with it and he was running for Mr. David in box stock, correct? Mm-hmm. He was in some very good equipment. They take care of that thing meticulously. Running mini hub gears, any edge that they can get, they look for it and they try and find it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, within the rules, I'm not saying that they're trying to find gray areas, because they're not. They're just fast, and
that's what
they take pride in their equipment.
That's what it takes in racing, just like us in the cars. I mean, you're not gonna go out there and give it half effort and half of what everybody else is giving and expect to get the results they get. You got to give it.
You give half the effort, you get half the results.
Yeah, that's right. So, but James showed the other night that when you give all the effort and you got the equipment and you take the time and do all the steps, that you can do it. But yeah, he did it in 2 classes. So little James is, so like I said, we'll get to that. We'll move on to his other class in it. But in box stock, he earned every bit of that one because he put on a clinic. Yeah,
and we probably, all truth be told, we put forth about a 5th place effort, and that's what we had to show for.
Yeah, that's what we had to show for. And then one of the Thomas boys finished up front, 2nd place or 3rd?
Yeah, he finished 2nd. I feel like if Carson could have had a couple more laps, he could have got him.
Him and Carson had a good.
Carson's kart came in as the race went on, and it looked like Seth might have been falling off a little bit,
which they had run them tires in multiple classes,
and that kart had just been ran in kids class as well. Yeah, that was the same kart that won the kids class was running. He was running it in box light.
I think had Carson because Carson come out and made a gear change at the end of the night for practice, and when they went back out, and I was telling him Carson then was faster than him. I feel like Carson could have had a 2nd place kart in the feature had he maybe had a little more seat time beforehand.
But he didn't have a first place kart.
No,
James had that one
absolutely
locked
not.
down.
No, absolutely not. But you said Seth. Was it? He
Yeah,
was
Seth
racing. Yeah,
finished
Seth.
second.
He. I said he locked down a second. He had an all around good car the other night. I said that handle looked like it was handling good. He had a good run.
Carson was able to make the pass from fourth to third as they took the white flag.
Did he?
So
yeah, he was running.
He got around Nick, and Nick put up a good race in all 4 classes he ran. But he ran everything. He ain't got no sense.
Yeah.
Crazier than I am.
All right.
But after that, we went to the mod lights.
Yeah. No, box heavy.
No, we went. No. We did both lights and then both heavies.
We did. Okay. Yeah.
Mod light was. You had Pee Wee in there running into 30. Seth came right back, hopping in a different kart. He was in the double O. Okay. James was in his personal kart to 1. Who else do we have in light?
Who was the leader that broke?
That was Pee Wee.
Okay.
Nobody
had a half a straightaway on Little James, and Little James was the closest thing to him, and Little James had a little gap on third place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was looking like it was going to be settled in. I mean, I was just counting laps from the flag stand and looking to throw a caution, but everybody was pretty settled in, you know.
I think it might have only been 4 of them, and Nick was the 4th one.
Yeah.
He was driving that 10.
Then what was that on lap? Probably around 10, around halfway?
It was over halfway.
Over halfway.
It was at least 2/3 of the race done. He caught the back of the field.
About 5 to go. Yeah, and like I said, he still had almost the whole back straightaway when he'd come out. Like I said, he was going into 3 when James was coming out of 2, and he threw that chain, and I knew he was heartbroken.
Yeah, I talked to him after the race.
I knew. I don't think I had to go yellow. Did he roll off or did I have to go yellow?
We ended up going yellow.
Okay.